Requesting everyone to please settle down as we are starting the next session. Very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the next session of IIJS Bharat-Signature 2026 Innov8 Talks. I am Clarina Gooms and I will be your host for the day. The topic for this session is the age of intelligence, how AI will rebuild every industry in 5 years. To share its insights, we have Mr. Tushar Gupta. Tushar Gupta is an entrepreneur, strategist, and AI visionary dedicated to empowering industries to harness the power of artificial intelligence for the transformative growth. With deep expertise in enterprise AI solutions, data-driven decision intelligence, and governance frameworks, he leads cross-disciplinary innovation that accelerates digital transformation and builds future-ready organizations. At IIJS Signature, he will explore the age of intelligence, a compelling roadmap for how AI will reshape every industry in the next 5 years, unlocking new business models, operational excellence, and global competitiveness. Welcoming you, sir, on the stage. The stage is all yours, sir.
Thanks. Hello, is my voice audible? Yeah, right. Okay, so just to understand, like, who is the audience exactly, I think most of you would be jewelers over here, some of you would be bankers. Anyone else representing any industry in particular? You can just shout out names, it's fine. Okay, so just jewelers and bankers, right? Okay, so maybe then what I'll do is I'll speak about, rather than going top down in terms of understanding the impact of AI on each and every industry, let's go bottom up and see what applications we really use in our daily lives, how they've transformed our lives in a dramatic way, and then probably also see some interesting use cases that AI already has in place right now. Yeah, so just a brief introduction about myself. I'm Tushar Gupta. I'm a chartered accountant, and I am a part of this family business called Suntech Group. We're a group of 6 entities. We specialize in providing applications for the gems and jewelry sector. We're very strong in the Middle East. This year we are launching in India as well. So we're a team of around 140 people globally with offices in UAE, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, and now we're opening up very soon in Europe as well. So yeah, like as the topic is self-explanatory, but like very broad in nature, which is the age of intelligence, of course it is, and how AI will rebuild every industry in 5 years. So rather than going top down, let's just go bottom up. And I would encourage each one of you to really think about these things that are shaping our lives and just take a moment to reflect upon them. Yeah. So this is how exactly everyone's familiar with this interface, right? So which application it is? Uber, right? Yeah, so what it essentially does is, this is exactly the screenshot of my application right now. Like, I just took it at 10 a.m. before, when I was curating my presentation. So what it does is, it picks up your location, number one. Number two, it suggests you what place you want to go to. Number three, it shows you the estimated travel time. And number four, it shows you the price, right? And finally, you make like some options. You decide, like, okay, if you want to play for some premium search pricing, etc. Those are all value add-ons. So what it essentially is doing, like, what's the utility it is serving here? The utility is travel, right? So how travel used to be, let's say, 8 years back. And that's the time that I remember, because I'm 29 years old, right? Travel kaise hota tha pehle? Like, how can anyone in Bombay tell me? I'm from Dubai, and the travel experience is, of course, was similar there. But if we wanted to go from point A to point B, kaise hota tha travel pehle? Yeah, exactly. He was just shaking his hand. He's like, "ऐसे करो, पहले जाओ, go down, figure out, find a this काली पीली बोलते हैं इधर भी बॉम्बे में, तो find that car वाला and then negotiate that pricing. Guess what time of the day it is and figure out what's the best route to go to because of considering various traffic considerations." Now imagine Uber has essentially outsourced all of that. Like basically Uber has owned all of those problem statements, and that's the power of technology right now, right? Like, and this is essentially what I want to, why I started with is because we relate with this experience in our daily lives. And in a couple of minutes, you'll also understand like why I started with this example, because AI is really going to change travel for all of us, right? So just like fun trivia, by the way, like this wasn't part of my presentation, but it's coming to my mind, so I'm going to say it, which is what's the, Uber is in threat right now, by the way. Like Uber is kind of in the verge of getting disrupted, right? And what's happening in circles of London and California, those are hints that's actually causing it to disrupt Uber, right? So the company that's doing it, can anyone identify it for me, that which company is actually on the verge? Yeah, exactly. What's your name? Raghav. Okay, I'll actually meet you offline once my presentation is done. Yeah, so Waymo is actually kind of disrupting Uber, and it's a very interesting story to play out on. I bought Google stocks, so I'm 68% up this year, so I'm very happy with that. But that's the potential of AI, right? Like we started with an example of how digitization like changed travel for us, and now how AI is going to change travel even more, right? So yeah, that's that. I'm going to build on this, which is to show parallel examples of from our daily lives and how like AI is impacting all of that, right? We're familiar with all of these screens. We know Netflix, I would categorize it under entertainment. We have Zomato, which is food delivery. Okay, this wasn't part, I think maybe she missed out. So I wanted to put maps here, Google Maps. So all of them satisfying certain utilities. Netflix satisfying the utility of entertainment. Zomato, again, satisfying the utility of fooding. And maps, again, travel, right? So all of them have just owned the problem statements of convenience. Like essentially, they're just solving for convenience here, right? And this is what has happened because of digitization. And in fact, Netflix, some of you may know, Raghav may know that what Netflix is merging or is actually on the verge of buying Warner Bros., right? So that's the power of change, right? Like an example of a company that started after Warner Bros., but now is going to buy Warner Bros. So yeah, like I'm going to build on this further, which is, yeah, like so this is what I want to really focus on, just 3 key words, right? Like, which is the unit of value shift, effort to efficiency to information. And by effort, I mean, when we were living in an era of pre-industrialization, think about something like pre-1800s, which is when the moat that a company or an institution really had was manual labor. So if you had that moat, you kind of would have won the race. Next came efficiency, which is of course post-industrialization. You had access to machinery, you had access to capital, and if you had those as inputs sorted, then most likely you would win the race. Next is information, right? Like again, just digitization of all of these like things that we just saw about. And if you have access to information, it's a strong enabler for you in terms of just winning the race, right? And we saw those examples, which is Uber, Netflix, Zomato, so on and so forth. Even fintech, Google Pay, UPI is a strong example for that. So, which brings us to the next question mark, like what exactly will be the moat in a post-AI world, right? And it's very tough to answer that. Like even to be quite fair, like I don't know what's the answer to that, but from my best understanding and from people who I follow, I admire, all of them share the same conclusion. But I'll pause here and I'll also see if the audience has anything to share, like, or say what would be the next moat for us in an AI-driven world. Raghav, you might want to take a chance, or anyone else from the audience. Yeah, it's very tough, I know. Like, we can't even, it's very hard to predict because I would, so yeah, like, so I'll just break it out because I'm not sure what's the time. What's the time, guys? 3? 3:20, yeah. So do we have till 3:30? Then the professor can, yeah? Oh, okay, no worries. So yeah, so the next the next moat that a company would, should have in order to win is judgment. Or judgment, I mean domain or context, because this is what truly will differentiate you from the others. And once you're able to leverage these tools, right, in the right context, because domain is something you truly possess, right? Whether you could be a jeweler, you could be a banker, you could be a manufacturer. Domain is something you really possess, you really breathe in and out. And this is something that, of course, would go as an input to any AI-related tool that you would be using. So your focus as a business should really shift towards identifying what processes could be leveraged using AI, and then just focus on your key domain, right? And we'll see why that's important in a minute. Like I'll give you examples of current, industries and current utilities that are already disrupted using AI, right? So, and all of them share this common thread, which is judgment, right? Oh yeah, so before building on, right, like let's pause and let's really think what AI exactly is for us. Like what do we understand when we say the word AI? So let's just shout out a few names because these are media popular, I know. But why I'm bringing this out is because I had a friendly conversation with my cousin brother who had flew in from US on 30th December. So I realized that, okay, he lives in the US, but still there is some gap in terms of understanding what AI is, what's really happening under the hood. We know ChatGPT, we know NVIDIA. These are very popular names, but do we know what's really happening? What is the entire ecosystem comprised of? Anyone from the audience really wants to take a shot? It's fine if we don't know, but yeah, please. Sorry? Apps? Yeah. So that's application like interfaces. Yeah. You can give him the mic. It's okay.
So apps like Grok, Perplexity.
Yeah. So those are powerful use cases of AI. But what do I mean is like, so the previous speaking panel, I was just here for 5 minutes. They were talking about mine to metal or mine to diamond. Like what's the entire journey about, right? Like if I have to just zoom into ChatGPT, what's behind that? And then what's behind that? And then what's behind that? Yeah. Someone wants to take a shot here.
Machine learning and neural network?
Yeah, correct. That's layer 1. So there is some sort of algo that's happening on Python, and that there is some matrix multiplication that's happening, and that's what GPT is ultimately about, right? But okay, now let's say that Python would be hosted on somewhere, like it would be hosted on a server, right? We are familiar with, are we familiar with these terminologies, or like what a server means? Are we familiar with that, or yeah, we are? The audience looks comfortable with that. So yeah, so essentially what's happening is that, like, and I also talk about like what this understanding is really critical in also understanding the current geopolitical context that we are operating in, because this is what, and even the current debt situation that's like kind of really making this understanding really important. So which is that, if you zoom into ChatGPT, you'll see some lines of code on Python that's hosted on some servers. Again, that's on data centers. Now, NVIDIA, okay, let's see first. What does NVIDIA really do over here? Can anyone take a shot? And where does it participate in this value system, like ecosystem? Yeah, GPUs, partially, right? It's basically designing that ecosystem, in designing the GPUs, you're right. So, sorry? Can anyone please give him the mic? Yeah, energy efficiency is a part of their software that really enables, electrons to flow through transistors efficiently, right? So NVIDIA is that player, right? Now, who manufactures those GPUs, right? Anyone who's aware of like yeah, exactly, yeah, right. Taiwan, TSMC in Taiwan is manufacturing the GPUs. Now let's go one layer further. What's GPUs essentially all about? Yeah, someone wants to take a shot. Yeah, so someone was saying something? Yeah, semiconductors and transistors. So essentially some beautiful
They
diagram
are
of,
basically rare earth minerals, right?
yeah, that's the end point. We have reached like silicon where silicon really enables. So all of this is essentially, GPT is nothing but some electricity that's moving in a carefully orchestrated way. And all of these companies, which is your TSMC we spoke about is GPU manufacturing. Then in chip design, we spoke about NVIDIA. Carl Zeiss, which is the glass optic manufacturing company. That's really, it's really, really important to understand that because that enables this Netherlands-based company, which is ASML. ASML is your EUV lithography machines. That's the only company that builds this technology, right? And so these go as components into building the GPU, right? And of course, with raw materials such as silicon, which is, silicon is sourced from
Different countries like
China,
Russia.
China, Russia, yeah. So all of that is linked. So you know why all of this is happening is these geopolitical news that we're seeing is because everyone is in a rush to win the AI war, especially China and US. And as we're speaking, ASML is getting a competitor. China just released, like they said that they have potentially developed some technology that would enable them to also manufacture lithography machines. And the first prototype would be out by 2028. So even if we develop like any country that develops a large language model would be critically dependent on all of this supply chain, right? And any country that really wants to win the AI race needs to think about the supply chain, the value chain also before really prioritizing like that, okay, we have a large language model or something of that sort. So yeah, which brings me to, you know, the next part of my conversation, which is what are the current utilities that AI has really disrupted, right? And something that I personally use, something if you are in the coding environment or your friends may be using that. So let's hear first names that the audience currently uses. Of course, ChatGPT is there, but any other, yeah, sorry? Yeah, Cursor. So what do you use Cursor for? Yeah, excellent, yeah. So website development is one utility that the AI tool is, you know, is doing better than most of us. Any other tools? Yeah. Lovable, yeah. Very good, excellent example. Lovable.
Gemini?
Yeah, Gemini is sort of the same thing, which is...
Replit.
Replit is a great example, yeah. I think who are jewelers here? I thought I saw some... So jewelry, what are you guys into? Like jewelry design, jewelry manufacturing? So jewelry design, just check some tools out. Even like text to image creation, ad creation. I think there's one tool that you should check out, which is Midjourney. So leverage. So again, coming back, right? Like that, you guys have the domain. You know what works for your customer. Maybe someone, I don't know. You maybe have a certain cliche that okay, you cater to a certain segment of the society. So you may know what designs work better. So the whole process gets better if you just use these AI tools and start powering your business accordingly, right? Yeah, the next is, yeah, like, so next is like, just understanding like what potential use cases AI may further solve for. Again, something that we all relate to daily. This is again a screenshot from my like Gmail application. It's messy. What are the challenges and like what challenges do I face over here? One is that just filtering junk out, responding to messages. Like I have to track which message should I respond to. Of course, you can do some organization in Gmail if you're well organized, but most of us are not, right? Then number 3 is remembering context that is spread across different communication chains. So now again, like there are companies that are prototyping with AI agents and kind of solving, like may potentially solve for this, and which would be a strong use case for our daily lives, right? Again. Similarly, the same situation happens to WhatsApp. Just look at it, like 299 chats that are unread. People keep on, because what's happening these days, especially in India, that your data gets leaked and like people start chasing you, companies start chasing you, texting you. So you need to like, there's a lot of chaos on this application, on this interface. So again, just organizing it, cleaning it up for you. And there are companies that are prototyping and already live with, who are kind of solving for this. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite reports that I read, which is, I have highlighted also 2 sections. So yeah, like before like revealing it, let me see if the audience can pick this up. These are 2 reports. One is the GDP release report, which the US government releases. And one is the BLS report, which talks about the unemployment figures. And these are all very recent reports. You can see like December 23, 2025, and like again, yeah, December 2025. So it definitely reveals something. But let's see if the audience is like kind of picking it. Yeah, can pick it up. Yeah, it's more like of the reverse, right? Like where we saw, yeah, like so basically what's happening is real GDP grew and in a relatively calmer labor market, right? Like so, I mean, it's too early to kind of point to like, this conclusion that AI has really worked out, because these are annualized figures. BLS keeps revising its reports. But what it definitely mentions as one of the components is that a lot of, so GDP is basically the value of goods and services that are produced in one nation, right? And in Q3, what had happened was that a lot of spending really went towards AI, building the AI infrastructure, right? Data centers and all. So, and this has happened like, again, pointing it out, which I've highlighted, which is the unemployment rate remained the same. So are we moving towards a more efficient environment, right? It's too early to reach to that conclusion, yes, but it's still revealing something, which just highlights the importance of educating ourselves, raising our awareness levels, doing staff trainings, and adopting the best AI tools available. So yeah, this is the, situation that I just wanted to leave you guys with, and hopefully this was helpful. And yeah, I'll leave it up to the professor to take it from here. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such an insightful presentation. Now we have our second speaker, Mr. Palaniappan Ramu, is a professor of engineering design at IIT Madras. He works on data visualization, AI, uncertainty quantification, and data-driven product design. His lectures on optimization, surrogates quality, and DFMA receive wide viewership in YouTube. He works with numerous industry partners towards quality, data analytics, digital twins, and AI in engineering design. Let's welcome Sir on the stage. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for hanging around. My name is Palaniappan Ramu. I'm from the IIT Madras Department of Engineering Design. So the topic that was given to us was pretty broad. So how is AI going to bring out changes across different domains? But then I thought that we are coming to a JEPC event, and I should be focusing that on the jewelry side of it. So this is going to be the topic. Okay. All right. Oops. Yeah. So thanks to JEPC for having us here, my students and collaborators, without whom most of the content in this presentation is not possible. Of course, majority of the images are AI generated and the data is picked from the internet. So the way, I mean, we do work with a couple of jewelers in different aspects, and from that, this is my way of looking at making a jewelry, right? So you start with the design, you have designers there, you use techniques like Adobe or whatever, software like Adobe, and then you go to a CAD. Example is Reno, but there are also other type of software, and then you go to die making from caricatures typically, and then you go into mass manufacturing. Then you go into a testing stage, which is at this point in time to a large extent that we are aware of is manual, and you need to take care of quality there. And then packing, shipping, tracking is an issue there. Display in the retail context, and then sale as the in-person tryout, right? So now these are few challenges or limitations at this point in time. This is more like design to stock, not like you come up with a design and then they build it for you. It's not like that. And there is a trial and error. It is limited by the CAD modules that you have, and typically we use the repeated parts. So these are something that we miss, the personalization, the creativity, primarily because we don't have a digital version or the digital equivalent of the parts or the designs that we are building. And in terms of these two, there's a requirement is CAD knowledge is a requirement, and we are heavily dependent on the skill of whoever is building it, and the focus is to minimize waste. The challenges here is the simulation-driven manufacturing design, manufacturing-ready designs are not available. So we recently visited a large corporation, and we were super surprised that they don't use simulations. From CAD, they directly go to manufacturing. Okay? And for instance, other domains such as automotive and aerospace, we extensively work with them. Their design is primarily driven by simulation. Okay? So in the testing stage,